savage. Yes. Thank you, Goose, for the double header. That is some amazing music and a terrible video game. Shentok is already ready for our next run, so we're going to cut it over to Aladdin any percent on the Game Gear. If you thought Aladdin was a pretty good game, you're right. It's great, but not on Game Gear, and you're about to see why. It is trash.
Yeah, it truly is. All right, it looks like we're live.
Oh, okay, cool. And it looks like, and the jumping is just weird.
Yeah, it really is.
Anyway, everyone, this is Aladdin. Not the version that everyone remembers on the Genesis that everyone loves. This is basically, as Shentok calls it, Game Gear tech demo.
Yep. It kind of reminds me of Prince of Persia a little bit in some of the movement, but most of the game is auto-scrollers because they thought that was a great idea.
Yeah.
But I'll get started. Just count down in 3, 2, 1, and go. So most of the length of the game is cutscenes that have really slow text, but they just let you skip it. And we'll just get into some really pretty backgrounds and music.
Yeah, so they thought like a really great introduction to this game was to start off with an auto-scroller. So, as you can see, you have parallax scrolling on the Game Gear. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing.
Yeah, you can scarcely believe it's an 8-bit handheld.
Yeah, I know.
And so here we are just avoiding some barrels, running away from Razul, I think his name it was in the movie.
I think so. Obviously, this is very lore accurate. Aladdin ran at a fixed pace because he knew he was under threat, but only under so much threat.
Gotta conserve the energy of a street rat.
Exactly. Oh, and there's the bread that he stole. There you go.
Yeah, so you get 2 kinds of healing items in this game. You get apple, which restores like half a heart, and bread that restores your entirety of your health. So
now it is worth noting that if you're caught by Razul, you do actually have to restart the stage.
Yep, or if you fall in a pit.
Now if you're like, hey, what's a better way to start a game than one auto-scroller? How about 2 auto-scrollers?
Oh baby, and we even more lovely scrolling. Like they even have like some pseudo 3D effects on the edges of the buildings, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, like it's like mode 3.5 or something. It's actually really cool. I was really impressed by it. Not the game itself, but you know, the graphics.
Yeah. So on this stage, you can die if you get crushed on the edge of the screen to the left or just fall. But hey, now we're finally getting into an actual platforming stage. So we're gonna
so this game is not all auto-scrollers, which is what I initially thought when I first played it.
Yeah. So I just did a jump there. Basically, if you do like a non-running jump, you can, for whatever reason, grab onto a ledge in midair. And if you, in this game, if you like jump onto one of the gray platforms, they fall down, and for whatever reason, they just completely stop your movement when you jump on them. So you have to like redo your running, which is like it's kind of a double tap, but it's more like a toggle tap than anything. It's really weird because you can walk and then you just tap it again to run, and then also the game can randomly just put you back into walking too.
Yeah, the running and jumping in this game is a little bit awkward, especially since your jumps are fixed length.
Yeah. And then we also get introduced to the rock throwing mechanic, which is the same button as your sliding button, but it depends whether you're walking or running. And also, stairs are really finicky. Ooh. All right, now we're entering another stage. So this stage is not an auto-scroller, but may have well has been, because you're just basically just running across the screen, and if you touch the treasures, just like in the movie, you automatically die. Because basically what happens if you touch the treasures, you get permanent stunned and your health just drains.
I mean, I can't respect a Game Gear game unless its lore is perfect to a movie.
Exactly. And now we get the famous lava magic carpet ride that was present in the other games. And I think, was it only in the Genesis version where you could die several times and you would just skip the stage?
I think so. I don't know if that happened in harder difficulties, but I think it happened in easy at least.
Yeah. Well, in this one, you have to do it. It'll just keep saying try again. And also, if you get caught in like one of the dividers, it's also an instant KO. And sometimes those pillars that come up and down will just randomly kill you for no reason. It's really strange. Okay, we got Proton John to confirm that it does happen on difficult. So now we're in the palace. We have to go save the princess and show her the world.
Yeah. I think this is the longest stage in the game.
Oh yeah, by far.
Yeah.
And it kind of gives you like a little bit of freedom too, because you can go all the way around and stuff.
That's true, but it's also very much lock and key.
Yep. And rocks.
Yes, and rocks. Many rocks.
Yeah. We have to just hit all the Razul clones. And see, just like right there, just randomly stopped running, even though I was holding the button.
No, Shady Nerd, the Prince costume does not give you more defense. It just makes you look like you're richer and you have more swag.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're just like going around. There's falling chandeliers, but they're really inconsequential. They do like stun you and do a little bit of damage, but if you hit one, I'd be surprised. Because they basically just fall down in front of you. So we're just collecting rocks specifically for solving puzzles and hitting guards. But most of the guards you can just avoid pretty easily. And there's a key behind that door there, but we don't grab that because they expect you to... There's a point up ahead where we get a key that you're supposed to get to open and get another key. Ah! Okay, so yeah, if Razul grabs you, it's instant death.
Yep.
We collected a scarab, which means that's where we go as a checkpoint. But this checkpoint is kind of weird. This is like a really weird one where we have to exit the room and go back in. Otherwise, Razul will just keep chasing you and won't let you continue. Oh yeah, ledges are really finicky. If you're not exactly under them, you can't jump up the ledge. But we can also slide off ledges, which is nice. Okay. So we just hit that switch there. And then we want to slide off this one. That just lets us get past that chandelier. But at least we still have enough stones to not have to grab one later. And now we're getting into another guard, which apparently can see through walls, and is nice enough to hit a switch for us and then just go back to his regular guard duties.
Yeah, that's really confusing when you play the game for the first time.
Yeah.
And I thought I was stuck there.
And then we just can hit this guy here, grab the key, grab the rock, and run past him if the run button, or if the run decides to work.
It kind of did.
Yeah. I've had it so many times where it'll just suddenly decide to stop moving while I'm holding the button. And there's only one guard left that we have to deal with, and we do have to throw a rock at him, and there's a lot of lag in that room, so occasionally it'll still count me as running and have me slide right into the guard. Because this is a 2-button console, so they have to make buttons multi-purpose. So if you thought 3 auto-scrollers wasn't enough, we're entering the 4th auto-scroller with the most famous song in Aladdin history. And for some reason, the birds are out to get us.
And the buildings.
Oh yeah, the buildings.
The buildings, if you slam into them, that's instant death.
And the weather and the horses, they're all out to get us.
I mean, this is the romantic Disney song that I remember from the movie.
Oh yeah.
Complete with tornadoes.
And it's a pretty safe stage, because after a certain point, nothing will hit you anymore. Or at least nothing will kill you, really. Like, you can still take damage, but they give you a loaf of bread if you're really bad. Because, like, those falling berries, I guess they are, they fall off in front of you, and if you're this high up, they're never going to hit you. And I can just, like, take my hands off the controller and just take damage. And I wish I knew the lyrics, because then I could talk along to them.
Yeah.
And if there wasn't enough auto-scrollers, we got one more right here. But this one's actually kind of tricky, because, like, Jafar is just, throwing a bunch of stuff at you.
Yeah, this is probably the most difficult auto-scroller, since there's bottomless pits.
Yeah, and there's actually one chandelier that can kill you. Because, like, it's right over a pit, and sometimes it doesn't trigger properly, and it'll just land on top of you when you're jumping over a pit. Because most of the time, you can bait them. Go on. And there it is right there. We managed to be able to bait it out.
And now we're on the final boss, right?
Yep, we're on the final boss. And I found out yesterday that this sword can actually kill you. If it touches you at all,
Really?
it kills you. Yeah, it's a one-hit KO. So what you have to do is you have to bait the sword to falling on top of you and get out of the way of it. But I found out if you don't move, it actually kills you. And now we fight a giant snake Jafar, and he just throws fire at you, and your sword has like a massive range on it. And while you have the sword, you can't run for some reason, but you can still jump.
Well, I mean, swords are heavy.
Yeah.
And also,
Oh god, I almost died.
Don't run with scissors, but in this case, a sword, because they didn't really have scissors back in the day.
Exactly. And just like that,
Game Gear.
yeah, that's Aladdin. And just like that, Jafar's dead in the cutscene. There's nothing else. Was there any of the Aladdin games where you fought Jafar as a genie?
I don't think so. I know you don't in the Genesis version, and you definitely don't in the Super Nintendo version.
Okay. I always thought you did for some reason, but I guess I just misremembered.
Well, there's a PlayStation Aladdin game. Maybe it happens in that one.
Maybe. I know that's one that's based off the TV show, but it is revolving around freeing Jafar. But now we get some really wonderfully slow text. But yeah, that was Aladdin for the Game Gear, and thanks so much for helping me with commentary, Mike.